But first things first, Culture, you've seen the Meg. I want your review, buddy, because I have not managed to see it. But I've heard it's taken quite a bite out of the box office. So what did you think, mate?
Okay, so
first and foremost, what did you think of the first one, and then follow up with the second one? Give me your review of the second one. I think that's good. Sets the framework, the context.
It does. If you've seen the first movie, the second movie will feel familiar. Very true. The first film, I really enjoyed. I gave it the same kind of love I gave this film. It's right in the middle. It's a pure beer movie. We actually mentioned that on Thursday. This is a beer and a snack film. I mean, this is a I would actually probably have a Sapporo and some sushi and just like take back in my comfy theater and just and that's what I enjoyed the Meg that way, right? You're gonna get the kind of the jump scares, you're gonna get too many humans, the whole 9 yards. So when you get to the second film, you've seen it. You've seen it before. It's a monster movie. It's an underwater monster movie, but they introduce some new creatures that I don't know. I don't really want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but there are.
Well, isn't there a kraken in it?
It's not. Well, it's a big old octopus. So I guess maybe kind of a kraken. I guess it's pretty. You don't really get to see it in its.
Is his name's Phil?
Yeah, probably. You just don't get. You don't get to see it in all of its glory.
I'm terrible with these jokes.
Yeah, you are. But you don't get to see it in all of its glory. But
don't agree with me, Culture. Gosh.
I'm sorry. Anyway, no, I'm really not. To be fair, let me be honest. I don't care. But look, the octopus was cool. The sharks are cool. But there's some like dinosaur-y things. I mean,
is there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's brilliant. There's some. There's really a lot of room here for what they did with this to expand upon how ridiculous they can get. But look, you've seen the film before. There's just too many people in it, like most new modern monster movies. But you still get the monsters. The CGI is very good compared to what we have been. Forced
cheap. It was like $180 million. This movie, so it's not.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like Marvel. Like it's not like that. I mean, we're going to talk about them later, but like there's only one part where you feel like, ooh, that was kind of rubbery and kind of a little iffy. But it's not for very long. It's only for about 240 frames in total, so it's not very long. And because they cut away twice during the segment, but otherwise everything else in their CGI wise is wonderful. You get to see lots of people die by Meg. That's really cool. I love those things, man. It's like, hey, that's a big shark.
That's the point of it. It is a beer flick.
Yeah,
that's the point of it.
And it is pure beer flick. So like I said in my review, and I'll say it here too, I mean, this isn't a grand film. This is not some wonderful epic. It's not the worst film, right? It's a 5 out of 10. It is middle of the road. Go with your popcorn, go with your beverage of choice, and have a good time. But look, Statham is Statham, and like he is his own brand, and he doesn't have to act. He's just Statham. He's cool Brit guy, right? He's like, I left the military to be an actor. Okay, good choice, worked out. But but at the same time, I mean, they have a really weird kind of organic diversity in the cast. It doesn't feel forced at all. The only moment that kind of made me cringe a little was that both the submarine pilots were female, but it didn't really matter.
Oh, okay.
Everybody was more than qualified to be there, and there was a loss of life along the way. So just be prepared to lose characters. What's really cool about these films, and I think you will probably agree when you go see this, you don't have to have seen the first film's not important to see first. It's like it's like you can walk into a lot of different horror franchises, especially like like The Nun and stuff like that are all kind of loosely tied together, but you don't have to see any of them to understand them. So I felt like I really enjoyed this film for what it was, right? But again, my review was honest: 2.5 out of 5 stars, 5 out of 10, whatever you want to call it. This was a dumb, fun movie, and a lot of people in the chat seem to have seen it and they've enjoyed it too. So I'm just going to say that's where I'll leave the review at. It is worth, if you're looking to have a good time at a film, not see Barbie, you don't want to watch the world blow up in Oppenheimer, and you don't want to give Disney any money, the Meg 2 might be something for fun. So
so liked it then, basically. Well worth the price of admissions.
Yeah, it was worth the $12 or whatever. Yeah, it was worth that. So, and you can get it in 3D also. It comes in non 3D and 3D flavor. So
that's your review specifically, but let's talk a little bit more about it. Does it set up a sequel?
Yeah, well, there's room for more. There's room for more. I mean, they kind of like are developing a team, right? That are trying to interact with and understand these big creatures at the bottom of the ocean. In fact, this film kind of sets up the part of the organization that they merged their exploratory services.
Are they making their own version of Monarch, but for the Meg universe?
Kinda, yeah. A little bit. It's kind of neat though. But here's the thing. I mean, there is a very dark side of all of this, and they kind of show how there was like corrupt people in the organization, and they were doing some very bad things, and then they got found out by the good people in the organization, which Jason Statham's part of. There were moments there that I mean, I'm always going to cringe, like getting a little kid involved in the save the world moment is kind of goofy, but like you said, it turn your brain off and have fun. But is it setting something else up? Indeed. I think you could have a Meg 3, and especially since now you've introduced the idea that there's a whole world somewhere else that can come and mess our world up pretty good. So I think there's some room.
Okay.
Yeah, and it made $112 million international box office alone.
What? Just international or worldwide?
Yeah, I know. I think that's just international number. Let me confirm.
It did $30 million domestic.
Yeah, it didn't do well. Yeah, but see,
great.
It didn't
First
do
one
great
didn't,
here in the States. Yeah. But I was like I said, I mean, I was impressed. And I figured, by the way, when you see this, you'll understand this was geared towards an international audience.
So I was just about to ask, was there very much a slant of this being tailored for the Chinese? Because it's because the first one was because of Tencent.
Yeah. I think
they sort of shoehorned in like a particular Chinese actress, I think it was in the first one, Li Bing or something like that.
And then they killed her.
So that's what it was. So it's still very much like slanted for the international Chinese audience.
In fact, the island that you get to go to towards the end of the film is like called Happy Fun Island, and it's all full of Chinese tourists. There's a few Merkins mixed in there, of course they're 100% ugly Americans. The travelers that are entitled. Yeah. So, I mean, there was definitely some shots in there, but to me, I don't care. Cause I mean, when I've traveled abroad and I've seen Americans act like jackasses, I'm like, thanks, dicks.
Well, stereotypes exist for a reason. It's founded in reality. People always get butthurt about this, but it is the facts, unfortunately.
No, just if you're an American and you're a thoughtful person and you travel abroad, you see it everywhere. You just it's like, wow, you are really making us look bad, you redneck piece of junk.
So you'd recommend it, setting up more. VFX are pretty decent.
I'll recommend. I liked them. I mean, the sharks are amazing. Those Megs, man, they look beautiful. Like I said, there were only a few moments that I got pulled out, but I'm very critical of effects. You know that, and so like I'll point towards that every time. But it was really only like a little bit in the beginning that there was some texturing issues, but again, that's real subtle. And then on the towards the end of the film with the one scene.
What was the lighting like underneath the water?
Fantastic. Oh yeah, I mean,
did that pretty well.
They actually did used a lot of when they got to the bottom of the ocean. There was a lot of bioluminescence that was gorgeous. Like they
that's
took notes. Yeah, they took notes from Avatar, right? And they kind of ganked a lot of that stuff. So it looks really it looks good. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So worth it, beer flick. Not breaking any records or anything.
If you go in looking for a very specific thing that I was talking about, like just a good time movie, this is it. It's definitely not Turtles. So
all right, okay, cool. Well, there you go, ladies and gents. Culture's review of The Meg 2. That was slightly rhymed.